Hello everybody, it's me, Carrie with MemoryInkers.com. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Impossible card. This is the original Impossible card, which I know many of you have seen several times. This is just a new one that I've done. If you have not seen, the way that works is, I will put these all up on my blog, MemoryInkers.com, but if you can zoom in on this, that is the basic directions. And I know it's been around for a while, so I'm going over this one really quickly. So then what you do is you snip all those lines, and what makes it impossible is the simple little fold that causes it to stand up. And then you decorate it, and you end up with something like this. Okay, so since we're not going to really be doing that one today, I want to show you some versions I have made of the triple Impossible card. Such a fun card. Now this one I have seen done in a larger version, which is actually what I'm going to show you today, is the larger version, just because I think it's easier for you to see it on a video than this smaller version. But I have adjusted the sizes so that you could do a smaller. This one's my favorite, I have to say, because these are loose. I just think it's fun. A smaller version to fit in a regular envelope through that you can purchase through Stampin' Up. So, and I will post. These are too many for you guys to probably get now, but you cut it like almost as if you were doing just a card front. So it's 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then you score this at, this says 4 1/4, but I have to adjust that. It's actually, I'm sorry, it's 2 1/8, not 2 1/4, so ignore that. So, and you're actually going to score between these other lines. And on one side it's going to be 1 inch, 2 1/8 inch, 3 1/4 inch, 4 3/8 inch. And then on the opposing side it's 3/4, 1 3/4, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 4 3/4, and then of course you're at the 5.5. So, and again, this will be on my website, or you can pause it if you can. Let me see if I can pull this up and still get you guys a decent lighting. I'm hoping, because my camera is being held exactly center, like right here. I have no vision of anything in here. So I'm hoping that that works for you. So these, both of these directions will be posted. But the one I'm going to show you today is on a larger piece, and this piece is cut. I'm sorry, this is how I do my stuff. I make a big mess. It's called the Triple Twist Impossible card, and it's remeasured from an original that I had seen. And it's cut 5 inches by 7.5 inches, and then you're going to need to use your envelope tool, and because of its unusual size, you have to go all the way down to the 6 1/8, which requires an 11 by 11 piece of paper. So, but it's doable, and then you'll probably have a little space in there. So if you wanted to make your little pop-up area pop up a little bit higher, you will have that ability. So I won't be doing the envelope today, but so this is how that one is cut. It is scored at 2.5 between these two lines, and it is trimmed at 1 inch, 2 3/8 inch. Why do I think I just did this? 3 3/4, 5 1/8, 6.5, and then on the opposing side 1.5, 3, 4.5, and 6. So that is where you're going to draw all your pencil marks, and then erase your pencil marks. And then you're going to cut your pieces. Now, on this one, you will see that I did the outline. This one is just a little, you can do it, but it's a lot more time consuming. So you'll see that on my smaller ones, I did not do anything on each of these little squares, although that would be very cute too. But, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it. And I always have to think about how I want to fold this. I want to go this way because I want that one up. And it still doesn't work. There we go. That one up. And then that one down. If you kind of hold it close to your table, you can kind of figure out what you're doing. And you kind of keep twisting in the same direction. Okay? And you can see I'm just twisting. Something isn't right. That's why. I know, but it's me. So you can see by just twisting, then you end up, the two sides are going to stay flat, and then these are all going to pop up. So, hoping y'all can see that. And then that's what it looks like underneath. So let me show you that again so you can see what I did. I just twisted at the score line. Now this is twisting easier than it will the first time. You saw how that worked. But it's because I've already done the folding. Now I don't like to score mine and press them down too much because they're going to be in an envelope when they're mailed. Excuse me. And I want them to make sure they still pop up. So I've gone ahead, because this is the true thing, is learning how to make all these awesome cuts. But I just wanted to show you this bigger one. Now for this, I used the Rooted in Nature stamp set, which is a big set. It's really awesome. It's one of my favorites. And I wanted to show you, I used this one, the Be Happy, or Be Strong, Be Happy, Be You. And what I did was I stamped it once, and then I trimmed it. And I trimmed it by hand, because this is going to be done with wood, and so I didn't care if it, first of all, you know how I feel about perfection, totally overrated, but I wasn't that worried about them being straight, because I wanted it to have kind of a homemade sort of look. So now my next tip is to always have a piece of grid paper handy, because what you're going to want to do is you want to make sure that this is going to be folded even. Now see, if you sit it on there, and I don't know how well you can see, but it's obviously not straight. So you're going to want it to be as straight as you can. So I am going to just, this is the way I have found easiest. What you might find easiest might be totally different, but I like to put a little bit of snail where I think it's going to be, and then start to just line these up. And it might seem like, how can this be that it's not folding perfectly? Well, you know what? It's probably not. First of all, I cut it, but it's very hard to kind of keep it. See, as soon as you let go, it sort of flips. So I am going to grab these ones that I think are fairly well set. That one looks a little bit crooked to me. And it does take some playing with it. Now you could actually attach this to like a large piece just to keep it from being so flimsy. Let's see, I don't think that looks right. You just have to be patient with it because there are so many cuts in this one. There we go. And then that holds it in place, and then you don't have to worry so much about the other side, and you can just do your adhesives, because it should be even, since this other side is kind of holding it all in place. And this one does seem like it's shorter. It is, because this one has the leaf design on it. So I'm going to have to use some adhesive remover, or my finger, and remove that extra adhesive that I had on there. And this is the back of the card, so I'm okay with that. So even though the background is smaller and everything, with it being on the back, what I mean by okay with that is once it's decorated, it will be less noticeable. And it's the back, so I didn't feel the need to place any more leaves or anything on there. And this is going to be a fairly simple card. So one of the things I did beforehand was I stamped this awesome tree. It's so beautiful. And I actually stamped it on Whisper White cardstock. But you can see, I'm going to move this because I don't know. Well, I don't know if that's any better. But what I did was I stamped it and I inked it up. And then I used my blender pen to remove a little bit of color. And I went back in with my soft suede marker and sort of colored. Let me pull out the stamp. And I know that sometimes I skip items for you. It's very, very hard to see on the stamp where these leaf lines are. So here's my suggestion. Ink it all up, stamp it, and then you'll have the tree image that looks like that. So you can kind of see it. Just stamp it on a scrap piece of paper. Then you'll be able to see all of these little lines that are very hard to see here. You can kind of see a few of them, but and then I used a blender pen to remove some color from the trunk and different areas, and like I said, I went back in with a soft suede marker and just colored in the places. Then it looked too stark to me on the Whisper White. Okay, so while editing this video, I realized that I don't think I gave a very good description on what I did with the tree. So I'm inserting this into the video. What I did was I inked the entire tree up in Old Olive ink, and then I stamped it so I would have a visual of what the tree looked like. I inked it again. Then I just took a blender pen and I sort of pulled away any place where to me it looked like there are branches. It may or may not be perfect. You know how I feel about that. And you do have to clean off your blender occasionally. You see the difference from where I had it before. And I took some off in the trunk because I knew that I wanted the trunk to have some of the brown in there too, and I ran a line there. Oh, that's going to be too thick, but you get the idea. I'm doing this standing up and on video, so it may not be perfect once I stamp it. Whoops. Then you want to use the brush end of your Early Espresso ink. I think I said soft suede on the video, but actually I believe I used soft suede. And you're going to try to find those places where try to remember where you took off some of the marker or some of the ink. And I don't think this is going to come out perfect, but please understand that I'm just trying to give you the idea because I don't think I explained it very well. So so you've added back in the Early Espresso. Now this one's not going to come out probably as pretty as I would like. And then I just stamped it down. Yeah, it's like that's too thick, but I'm hoping y'all can see where this is more brown than it was before. And then all I did was get out my Pool Party ink and a sponge, and I just sort of sponged over the top and around the edges. And you can kind of see how now this is giving me kind of a background. See how it's too stark on the white for the look I was going for. So although this one doesn't look as good as the one on the card, you get the idea of how I put that together. And I just smoothed out all the blue, and then I just used the framelits to cut it out. And that is how I got the brown in the tree. I hope that helps. And then I used the You Are Wonderful stamp because, again, the sentiment that I'm using is a be strong, be happy, be you. I thought of this card sort of as a an encouragement card for maybe someone that you know is going through something a little bit more difficult, or even for someone like me who is actually on Weight Watchers, and trust me, that can be difficult. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to fold this back just so you guys can see that a little bit. So I'm folding it back so I can decide where I want to put the things that I want to put on this card. Now you can see that I'm going to have a lot of extra left over, and I don't really want that. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to adhere. I always have to think about where this is going to go. Okay. I'm going to put some adhesive on the tree here, where I know it will be behind or attached to these pieces of cardstock that I want it to be attached to. But I kind of wanted the little trunk to be sticking up. Does that make sense? Now, I'm also going to do something similar with the You Are Wonderful, which I kind of wanted to be a part of the tree. Okay, so I'm going to put just a tiny bit right there, and then some where I think it's going to match up. Alright, now I have all this stuff hanging over that I'm not that crazy about. So because I did not do super adhesive on the back of the tree, I can then take my snips, go behind it, and just trim away. Now, if you're worried about what it looks like in the back, you might want to be a little bit neater. But you know what the odds are of me feeling that way. Slim to none. And that slipped off a little bit, so I'm going to just press that back. And my You Are Wonderful is a little bit crooked, so I am going to straighten that out a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to trim this one. Now, the one thing that I decided to do with this, and I think that's just really cute for someone to keep on their desk, or just somewhere that will make them happy. It's good for a girl or a guy. But I wanted to have a place to write an encouraging note. So what I did was I cut another Whisper White oval, the same size as this, and this of course is cut with the Stitched Shapes oval, and then this wood base is from the Wood Textures Designer Series paper. That's where all this wood base came from. So I did that with the layering ovals. And then I'm going to take this one, and if I were ready to send it, I would probably write on it first, just because I tend to make mistakes. And this way I wouldn't have to worry about it. If I did, I could just do another one. So then you can do as much adhesive as you want on this one, because it's actually going to then line up right there. And then you can write your little saying. And if you wanted to clean this up, certainly you could. So there it is. That is my Triple Impossible card that I wanted to show you today. Again, all of the directions and templates. Oh, also the tree. I'm sorry. The tree was also cut out with the Nature's Roots Elements Framelits dies, which are just so fun. It cuts out most everything in here, including this funky little leaf, I believe, is that. It has a couple of items. These 3 leaves are actually made to emboss. They're not made to cut. They're made to emboss, which is very cool. And then this is the leaf I used here and there. And if you're wondering about this background, I know you guys have seen me do it a bunch of times. I stamped it first, and then I just took a blender pen and I colored over it, and that caused the ink to bleed and give me the lighter green in the background. So this does not have a die, but certainly it can be punched out with any of your circle cutting devices, whether it's a framelit or a punch or whatever. And then, of course, this has a die, that has a die, these two have a die, that has a die, and even these have a die. So it's pretty awesome, this stamp set. So, and like I've said a couple of times now, if you have Lovely as a Tree, this is an awesome stamp set to go with it. So, again, you can get all of the directions at memoryinkers.com. I will have all of these templates out there in photograph so that you can get a better shot at them. So make sure you go over to memoryinkers.com. If you liked this video, and I sure hope you did, please feel free to follow me. That would make me very happy. And also on my memoryinkers.com, where I do blog at least 3 times a week. sometimes more if it's a theme week, or if I have extra blog hops, which I belong to several blog hops. So let me show you all the projects again one more time. This is the one we worked on today. It's the larger 5 by 7.5 version of the Triple Impossible card. This is a standard Impossible card. And then the 4 1/4 by 5.5 version of the Triple Impossible card. Okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below or contact me at memoryinkers.com. I would love to help in any way. And thank you again so much for watching my video. I just truly appreciate you. So thank you very much. Have a fabulous day. Bye.